So I am the program manager for the Community Education Center. I create programs to help students with career exploration, and today's session is to provide you an opportunity to gain more insight and exposure in the field of manufacturing to assist you in analyzing your own future career choices. For today's guest, I have Doug Bauer, the Director of Human Resources at Horizon Technologies, which is located on Battery Street here in St. Mary's. So Doug, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. And I believe you're going to tell us a little bit about your company and give us a little tour.
Yes, thank you, Amy. And good morning, everybody. I hope you can all hear me okay. I'm not real good at this, so I'm going to try to do this all from my phone. And what I'd like to do is give you a little history about Horizon Technology, tell you what we do, and then also I'll walk around the plant so that you can get to see it. It would be a lot better if this COVID thing wasn't going on and you could all come down here and visit, but that's not possible, so this might be our best alternative right now. Just a couple quick things. I can't believe how big my forehead is as I look at this. So I have less hair than I thought I did, so that's a little awkward. But the other thing is, I'm going to try to hold the phone as steady as I can and try to not make us all sick over the next 20 minutes as I walk around with this thing, so bear with me. What we do here at Horizon Technology is we're a powdered metal parts producer. So you hear about powdered metal factories in St. Mary's, we're one of those. We compact the parts together, we sinter them, we make them into components that go into the auto industry, that go into refrigeration, go into a lot of lawn and garden. There's a lot of areas where powdered metal parts go. And just a little thing that you might find interesting is the average car or truck that you see, no matter what brand it's made, when you see that vehicle, there's roughly 40 to 45 pounds of powdered metal parts in that car. So, and a lot of that comes from our area here in Elk County, or obviously there's other powdered metal plants outside of Elk County, but a lot of it started here and comes from this area. And a lot of what we do here is when we manufacture the parts, we have a lot of people who enter the factories and not sure what they want to do for a living. Do I want to work in a factory? Do I not want to work there? Can I be an engineer there? Can I be a cost accountant there? Can I work in human resources? What opportunities are there at Horizon Technology or a powdered metal fab for that matter? And I'm hoping to be able to touch on some of those for you. And just to start you out, I'll tell you about my own personal story. I started at a powdered metal factory when I was 17 years old. I graduated from public high school here in St. Mary's. Didn't go to college. So I thought, well, I'll go to the factory and see if I can get a job, and I did. I walked in and it was considered entry level. I really didn't know much about powder metal, didn't even know what it was. But I walked in and said, I'm willing to work. You have a job, what do you pay, and etc. Well, here I am 40 years later. I'm Director of Human Resources here at this company, and my career evolved throughout those 40 years, all inside a powder metal factory. I was given opportunities. They helped me with furthering my education, helping me to find a role for me, find what my strengths were, what my weaknesses. And I have a very nice career here at the company. And it all happened after walking in the door saying, I'm just looking for work, what do you have? I only throw that out to you as if you're sitting there saying, I don't know what I want to do. I really don't know. Maybe I want to be an engineer. Maybe I want to work in the construction industry. Maybe I want to leave St. Mary's. I'm not quite sure, but maybe I'll give this a shot. I'll walk into the factory and see what they have. I think that oftentimes the factories are given a bad rap. They feel like, oh, these factories, you go in there and you never leave, and it's not a glamorous job, and there's no fun or anything. Nothing could be further from the truth. And I hope you get to see a little bit of that today. So with that, Amy, Mrs. Gabazzi, if you're okay with that, I'll switch the camera around and just start walking through the plant.
Yeah, that sounds good, Doug.
Okay, I'm going to try this. Voila. There we go. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, here I'm standing in the plant and I'm going to try to scan around here. We're going to take a walk through. This is what I'm going to show you is part of the factory. But this is literally the factory floor, and we'll walk around and I'll try to, there we go. Everybody's happy, saying hi. We're going to show you what we do and what people are doing. Here's one of our forklifts, which everybody who enters the factory wants to drive one of those. Why not? What's there not to love about that? Yes, even entry-level employees, we train them to run the forklift, and obviously in a safe manner. I'm taking you around the back here. I just want to show you where the process starts. When you hear about powdered metal, and you're saying, well, what is powdered metal? That right there is powdered metal. It's literally, you see, that's powdered metal. And what we do here is we don't make powdered metal, but we purchase the powdered metal. We put it onto the equipment, and I'll go around to the front and show you. This is the back of the presses. We put it on the presses, and then we compact it into parts. It's made into parts. I'm going to try not to make you dizzy here, but I'm going to show you what's going on. That's Jeff. Jeff is a die setter. You might hear that word a lot in town, or you see it in the newspaper, people looking for a die setter. So what do? He is literally setting the die in that press. And Jeff is another person who started out in powdered metal when he got out of high school, and he's had a very good career, and he's working as a die setter right now. You scan around here. That's Steve and Ken. Those are both die setters as well. They're working on the presses, and they're putting different parts inside the presses, the parts that we need to run. And they're getting them set up so that we can run the parts. This is Wes. Wes would be a molding operator. Wes is taking parts that have been molded, and now he's putting them on the furnace. Here's the sintering that Wes was just loading. And you can see, it's hard to see back into the furnace. That's about 2,000 degrees. And it's just like the belt at Pizza Hut. It's the way the Pizza Hut, they put the pizza on one end and it comes out done the other end. That's what's happening here. These parts are slowly being fed into the furnace. And I'll show you when they come out the back end, they're sintered parts. Wes is loading the other furnace. And we also have a pusher furnace. That's another furnace that's running as well. So if you're wondering, if you were to come here to work and you're saying, well, what would an entry-level position be? What would I be doing? This could be one of the jobs. You could be doing what Wes is doing. You could be running the presses, loading the furnace, driving the forklift, moving the materials around, generally trying to learn about powdered metal, what we do, and looking at what each person does, what the die setter does, and the other people I'm about to show you. Here you can see one of the presses running, parts coming down on the tray, on the accumulator table. I'm just swinging back to show you Jeff and Ken again, the die setters. They're working on doing some problem solving and figuring out some new ideas with some parts that we're working on. This is what the data entry board would look like. Here we try to be paperless. So Wes, Ken, Jeff, everybody goes onto the computer system Everything's integrated so they can put their quality checks, anything they do, they can record right into the operating system. Okay, you're gonna have to bear with me here because I'm gonna walk around to the back of the furnaces. This is what the furnaces look like with their control panels. Those are the temperature settings as well as the programs that are set in. And there's the gases that go into them, the nitrogen and the hydrogen. And again, you would learn all of this. Everyone who works here learns how to do these things, what the gases are, what's required to go inside the furnaces. Here, Rachel is unloading the back of the furnace. Here, the parts have come out, they're sintered, and she was picking them off the back so they don't fall down onto the floor. She's picking them off the back, and then she's putting them on the table with cardboard to accumulate them to move to the next operation. That's an automated pick-off arm that's waiting for more parts to come out. That automatically picks off, so Rachel doesn't have to stand there picking each part off. That comes out, and we have people here who work on our automation and our robotics. So we're going to be putting these up front and back. Here you can see where some of the parts come out of the furnace and now they're sintered, and we have various operations going on here. Here, Andy and Tony are doing some inspection as well as some assembly that we do. And Emily and Stephanie are doing some inspection and packaging up there. They're doing, you can see they have magnifying glasses and lamps with the lights on to look in case there's any defects or parts banged together or something that the customer wouldn't accept. This is our quality lab. This is where we do some of our quality testing. You can see the people inside that are doing, it's air conditioned because of the equipment that's in there. It can't get real hot. So there are multiple people doing multiple tests. And here, what we do too is whoever runs the parts checks the parts. We don't pay Peter to watch Paul. We train Paul to check the parts himself or herself. And the reason I say that is as your career goes along in the factory and here, you would learn more and more of all the quality systems. You would learn more about what needs to be done to each part in order to make it acceptable for the customer and guarantee the quality. Even the parts that you see sitting there with the labels on them, we can trace that exactly who did the inspection, who packaged them, and who said they're okay. If the customer finds a problem with them, they call and say, this is a person we'd like to talk to. There seems to be an issue with this box. So, again, on one hand, that can be a little bit intimidating, but on the other hand, it's very exciting because you're responsible for what you do and you're taught to do it properly. You can learn bigger and better things. I'm not going to be able to go into the office area, but I will walk to one more spot and try not to make you busy, or not to make you busy. This is the entranceway into our machine shop. I'm not going to go in there because they have some stuff going on right now, but there's a machine shop where we do our design work and we make some tooling and do some tooling modifications, but it's also the entrance into the office. And I'm not going to go in there only because it's they're pretty busy and I don't want to disturb all that. But there's a person in there working in cost accounting. There's a person in there working on human resources stuff. And you say, well, what would that mean? You mean I could do human resources at a factory? Yes, we have issues with healthcare. We have all those things that need to be taken care of. And switches around here. And all of those areas need expertise. So if if you're working here at Verizon or in a factory, you necessarily have to do what I just did. I gave you a brief walk around about on the plant floor, what those jobs are and what those people are doing. But there's also an office full of people that are doing administrative work, purchasing, accounts payable, human resources, all of those things. We have engineers that are doing design work that are in cubicles. So those careers are here as well. And when you say, I get oftentimes asked the question, where can I make the most money? That's what I want to know. What can I do and where can I make the most money? I can tell you that the jobs that I just showed you in the factory floor are also very comparable, if not equal to, the jobs that I would show you in mine. So there isn't one career that's going to make a fortune and everybody else makes minimum wage. That's not the way manufacturing works. It's not the way Horizon works. Everybody's important and everybody makes a good wage, regardless of the skill set or regardless of what area you're working in. It's all important. So with that, I mean, that was the quick 15, 20-minute overview of Horizon technology.
So Doug, when you were talking about wages, like, do you have a certain starting wage? You know, like anyone, you know, like a high school student coming in, like what that starting wage would look like?
We do. The starting wage is $12.50 an hour.
Okay.
And then if, let's say, the starting wage starts at $12.50, that would be someone like a high school student or someone who's never worked in the factory before. If you were to come here and let's say you were no longer a student, you graduated, you need the minimum you need is a high school diploma. You've got to have that. If you have your high school diploma and you come here and you say, okay, I'm not a student anymore and I'm looking for a full-time job at Verizon, you would still start at $12.50, but after 60 days, then you would start ramping up and we would put you into our vacation system, our healthcare system, the benefits, all those things would start kicking in.
Oh, that's great. Just after 60 days. So what if they come in and, you know, they're interested in gaining some more training, some skills? Is that something that you guys send them out to do?
It is. It is. We do, and we pay for that. So, for example, the dive centers I talked about. Penn State Du Bois was offering some dive center training courses. So we had two students who came here after high school, started working. They showed some mechanical ability. They showed some interest. They wanted to develop their career. So we paid for them to go to Du Bois to the courses. We pay them their travel time. We pay them whatever. And the only thing we have is an agreement that they work here for a short, you know, that they don't quit right after that happens. But we pay for that. We have people who have become quality techs that work in the lab that I showed you. We pay for that. They learn that locally, or Penn State Du Bois or Pitt Bradford or the Community Ed Center here in town offers has a lot of offerings. Yes, that's a long way of answering the question. But yes, we do encourage it, and if someone shows the interest, and the only requirement we have is that they pass. they need to pass, and we'll pay
Right.
for it.
Absolutely. So what high school classes would you suggest students focus on, you know, relating to manufacturing?
Okay, well, I think the obvious one for us here is there's a lot of math. There's a lot of figuring out dimensions, figuring out understanding. You saw the two dive centers standing there. That's part of what they were doing. They were looking at a print of a part that a customer wanted, and they're trying to figure out, how do I do this properly? And much of that comes down to mathematics. What do I do to handle that? The other thing is, we like to call them, and again, there might not be a specific class for this, but it is more of behavior. We call it soft skills. When I'm interviewing somebody, I'm going to assume real quick that coming out of, especially Elk-Cameron, come out of the school system in Elk-Cameron, it's a good school system. I'm going to assume you know the math and you know those kind of things. Now what I'm interested in is, what was your attendance like? Or did they show up to school on time? Did they do what was asked of them? Were they a disciplinary problem? Were they those kind of things, which could be a red flag that they are not going to be able to fit in here. And what I mean by that is we run 3 shifts. So everything I showed you, we can't stop at 2 o'clock just because somebody decided not to come to work today. That furnace is still going. That belt's still going. The part's still going in there. We've got to run. So it's not a specific class, but it is a behavior or a skill set that's been shown over their time during that year in school that they're able to do these things.
That's good advice. So do you guys hire student, high school students? Do you do part-time? Do you do summer work?
All of the above. Yes,
Okay.
We've had several, I'll call it official school to work students over the last 10 years. And I can tell you that everyone that did that ended up working here full time after high school. Now, one of them left, he started his own business, his own lawn care business, and another one left to go into the military. But we do that. We do the school to work, official school to work. We do during the summer. Somebody's off school and they want to, they're looking for something just for gas money, something to get by. They're not sure what they want to do in life, but they want to earn some money. We do all that.
Okay. Why don't we throw it out to the students? Chris, do any of the students have any questions?
No, I don't think they have any questions. You guys good?
No questions?
Yeah, Doug covered everything.
So Doug, what do you feel about the future?
Okay, and I'll throw
the future of manufacturing? How did you guys fare through the COVID?
We're very excited, Amy.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, we're very excited. We survived it, or I'll say we are surviving it. We've had to make adjustments the same way as you've had to make adjustments at school. But our customers are busy. We're busy. We just hired 3 more people this past week. And we wouldn't do that if we believed we were going to lay them off next month. If you look at our first and second quarter of this year, it was very strong. That'll take you in the summer. Our customers are telling us they're going to stay strong through the fall and the fourth quarter of the year. You hear a lot of times people say, well, the presidential election is going to do this. There's all that stuff going on, but I can tell you, when you focus on Elk County and you focus on manufacturing, you focus on the powdered metal industry, we're doing fine. And we're going to stay busy. We're reaching into new markets that we've never done before, especially Horizon Technology. We're going into markets that are very exciting. You hear about electric cars, you hear about those things. We're on the forefront of that. So things are good and only going to get better as far as we're concerned. And I'll just throw out one thing before we're done here. And this is to all the students. I know you got a brief overview, but if you ever want to come to Horizon Technology and see what I just showed you, and you want to stop down and visit, talk to Amy or Mrs. Tabazzi, and they can show you how to get a hold of me. You can stop down if you want to come with your parents, or you want to come and do a walk around. And you don't have to work here, but if you want to just see what it is and maybe see it and smell it and touch it, you're welcome.
Well, thank you, Doug. That's great advice for the students, welcoming that down for a visit. All right. So I guess at this time, I just want to thank you for joining us and the students for hosting us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Amy.
Yep.